Don't make the same mistakes that I made when I first self-published my book. Even the book trim size was wrong. I have 5 things. 5 actual things that you should do when you are self-publishing your book, especially your first one. If you're new here, hi, I'm Pooja, and on this channel, I share my experiences on writing, self-publishing, and productivity. So like this video if you find it helpful and click subscribe to follow my unpredictable writing and publishing journey. The first mistake is not having a long-term plan. When I started off, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, where I was going with this. I was just winging it. And it worked for me at the time because I was working a full-time job and this was just something of a creative outlet for me. But the more I got into it, I realized that if I wanted to make self-publishing a career, I had to get serious about it. So what does that long-term plan look like? What I would recommend is sitting down and thinking 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see yourself doing with this self-publishing career? And looking at not just the technical aspects of it or what's happening in the industry and those things, but also looking at the financial side of things and figuring out what that means for you financially, because self-publishing is costly. It's not something that I recommend to people very lightly because I understand the financial burden that it can become if you are not serious about it, and if you are serious about it and then realize how much money goes into self-publishing, it will be a disappointment for you. So understanding these things from the get-go is going to help you. I recently redid my indie author self-publishing business plan, and I was just wondering if you'd be interested in seeing like a walkthrough of what I did, what was I thinking, how I made a business plan, what my Notion business dashboard looks like. Let me know if you're interested in a video like that. Like this video so that I know that that's something you're interested in and I'll create a video around it. The second mistake that I made was not researching the genre I was writing in and my target audience. Understanding the genre and the target audience helps you with your writing and your marketing. When it comes to writing for a certain age group, you have to understand their reading level, what is the lingo that they use. You have to understand all those things and incorporate them in your writing. What works for YA might not work for some serious literary genre. So you have to understand the genre and your target audience to incorporate these things in your writing. And of course, these things are very important when you're going to market your book. These things also play a very important role when it comes to your book cover. Every genre has some expectations from what the book covers will look like. And having your book cover designed within that genre, within that target audience norms is going to be helpful for your book so that it is easily recognizable by the target audience who would be interested in reading your book. And not doing that will make it harder for your readers to discover your book, and it will only hurt your book when it comes to sales. I like my book covers a lot, but some of them don't fit the genre very well, and that's one of my plans going forward is to redo the covers. And these are the perks of being a self-published author. I can decide to do these things anytime I want, but it's good to have these things figured out beforehand so you don't increase your cost when it comes to your books. If you need help with figuring out your genre, your target audience, your book format, all these very basic things that you need to figure out when you're self-publishing your book, I just finished doing that. I dug out the document where I had all these things for my last book and I just went through it, tweaked it, and if you're interested, you can get that template on my website. The third mistake that I made is not having an author platform early on. I would say it wasn't a big deal at that time, especially in India. Things were still being figured out at that time when it comes to self-publishing and author platform and book marketing for indie authors. But I still feel I could have done more with my author platform. I know the reasons why I was not able to go full throttle on those things, but that's a regret I have, whether it is my own mistake or the circumstances, but I wish I could have done it differently, and that's something that I would recommend. The earlier you start with your author platform, the more data you will have. So when it comes to narrowing down and going full steam with just one platform, you have that data to help you decide these things. In my last video, I talked about how having my YouTube channel has helped me a lot with my book sales. And if I had started my YouTube channel earlier on, I would have been further along with my author platform and my YouTube journey. You can avoid this mistake by simply picking up one social media platform to start with, but I would highly recommend starting with your website. If you want to know more about why your website is important and how you can leverage it, I have a video on it and I'll link it in the description of this video. The fourth mistake is book editors. I hired an editor even for my first book, but I didn't know what type of editing I needed, so I didn't hire the right type of editor. So it's important to understand the different types of editing, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, what type of editor you need, what type of editor your work needs, and that requires a little bit of self-awareness also. So getting to understand these things early on will help your book. What are the different types of edits? What edit your work needs? How do you hire an editor? Where do you go to hire an editor? What do you actually write to start talking to an editor? What do you need to include in your contract when you're working with an editor? What are the red flags? What are the things that you should look out for to make sure that you don't work with someone that's not right for you or get scammed outright? I have made videos where I have shared how I've gone about hiring editors, the different types of editors and all these things, and I'll have those links for you in the description of this video. And the fifth mistake is not leveraging my Amazon product description page and my author page, A+ content and all those things. When I first published my book on Amazon, I didn't know what I was doing, so I did something very basic. Even my sales copy was not very effective, but I have learned a lot since then, and I know how to write a sales copy now, and I have worked on my Amazon author page, and these things might not directly result into sales, but they just help you to have a very cohesive author branding, which does help when you start getting traction and readers start discovering your book. Last time I updated my Amazon author page, I recorded the whole process, what I did, how I did, what was I thinking, all those things, and you can watch that video right here, and I'll see you in the next one.